If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch. Buy our merch indeed.
Charles shall lead them.
To buy our merch. All right. We are doing an album
What is this here? This thing.
Look at it. Somebody bit it.
Probably why you're so miserable, evil ass kid. Good for you.
No.
Alright guys, here we are!
There's
Shout
nothing
out
in
to
that
A.
they can eat that! You're very loud sometimes, babe.
What? Who said that? They can eat that?
I'm telling you they can eat that, but you were like, whoa! Just being so loud you couldn't hear me, so I started yelling at the same time you stopped. So
I had no idea what you're talking about.
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Savatage!
It doesn't matter what I think.
We're doing an album review. Please pinch... Oh, God.
What happened?
Savatage Strange Reality is up next for the big homie Mojo.
Yes.
He's doing a full album review, and we are on track 4.
Track number 4. The name of this song is Strange Reality.
Strange Reality.
Strange Reality by the band Savatage. And look, guys, if you want to be a DJ, it's very simple. 4 songs minimum gets you to be a DJ. There is no maximum. So, for example, we're doing 2 days of Savatage, today and tomorrow, featuring our big homie Mojo. Okay, so there's no limit to how many. We once did an entire week's worth of reviews for a person. So there's no limit, but you determine what song, you determine the song order, you determine when we start, you determine the little thingamajiggy down there.
Also, another little hack is that if you reach out to me, because you need to work on a payment plan, basically like a layaway, I can help you with that. So just reach out to me and I'll work with you on that. I've worked with many a folk on that.
There you are. Okay,
Yeah.
guys, here we go. Savatage, Strange Reality. Let's do it. Go. Okay, that was song number 4, Strange Reality. Scroll up. So it starts off by saying, "Who's this before me, dressed in rags, soaked in gin? Is it a sign or a warning? Am I now seeing what? Am I now seeing where he's been?
Am I now where he's been?
Am I now where he's been?"
Wow. So he's having like this kind of out of body experience where he's seeing himself dressed in rags, and he's like, "Is that me? Is he?" Because it's like
I don't know if he's seeing himself dressed in rags. It could be a flashback to before his fall from grace.
He said, "Who is this before me?"
Right? So it might just be he ran into a bum on a street, and he's looking at the bum and saying, "Is this guy a precautionary tale for where I'm going to go?" Or it could be that he's looking at himself in the mirror, and it's strange to him because he doesn't recognize himself. Mm-hmm. You know what's really fascinating to me, which I guess is common among the trans community, but I did not know this until somebody had done like a 11-hour commentary on something. It's 11 hours long, and they said, and this was a lot of trans people were saying that they felt that way, that when they hit puberty, that they would be afraid of the person that they saw in the mirror, because you feel that you're a female the entire time, right? And when you're a baby and you're younger, there are definitely differences between boys and girls, but it's not as. But now you're growing facial hair, and you're getting a more adult features, and so they were talking about hitting puberty.
That's so sad.
Hitting puberty, and then, seeing, this mustached person or this bearded person and being like, "Yo," because psychologically they're living, they feel a certain way, and then their body doesn't match what they're seeing. I know this is not necessarily
sad. You know what's so sad about that?
Totally related, but
is that when most times, like, like when you're talking to like a teenager that doesn't have that issue, like, they're happy about the changes.
Yes, that's yes.
Or Johan came
Same
back.
thing with the cycle.
His little, his mustache was showing more. It's darker.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, your mustache is showing." And boy, wasn't he happy that I noticed that his mustache. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would just be like all of those, like those moments as you're changing and becoming like an adult are exciting moments. Because you're basically like, you're getting to discover your own changes as they're happening, like, because you don't know who you're going to be at the end of it.
Right.
So yeah, that's really sad. Like you're saying, when they're a kid, they're looking at it as, they feel one way, and the body when you're a kid, it could swing.
Yeah.
Just depending on what you wear, it doesn't, and the voice, it just whatever.
Everybody used to say that Johan was a girl. He had long hair and it was very curly.
Honest to goodness, that just stopped like. Just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Prior to that, people kept saying it, but now he's transitioning more to be more manly looking.
Yeah,
so
masculine,
people are not seeing him as like
a little boy. I mean, a little girl.
He had those big eyes, and his hair was always long, and yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was very interesting, like just lyrical, but. There's that
so
thing.
What were you going to compare the two?
Well, he was just saying he doesn't recognize who he sees in the mirror, and it's the whole phenomenon of like, you have a certain image in your head, like you have a projected self that you have in your head, and most of us are delusional. Most of our projected selves, we're not viewed by outsiders the way that, like one of the tests that I had to take. Was of the trillions of entrance whatever things, but it was you had to guess what other people, you had to rank what other people ranked you as. So they wanted to know
that's
how
interesting.
Close
yeah,
your personal narrative,
your self-realization was
to other people's perception of you. And they made a point to say, we are measuring other people's perception of you. We're not measuring the reality. They had to tell us this is not the reality of who you are. What we're doing is we're saying, do you have an understanding of how other people see you? Whether or not that perception, I scored the highest. I almost got a perfect score.
What categories did they?
The psychologist was it was 250 questions.
What?
We've been around each other. The particular group of guys, we've been around each other for.
Wow.
I think we're at the 12-week mark at that point. But yeah, I scored the highest in class on that. But that didn't. I thought, oh yeah, and that didn't really help me a lot. Because what the psychologist ended up saying was, okay, now that we know that you know that, it makes you the hardest person to measure what you're actually thinking and how honest you're being. Because if you know so much about how people perceive you, you can then use it. So I was like, okay, so there's no way to take this test and not come out looking horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, mm-hmm. And that psychologist was crazy because he didn't give you anything. He said, okay, next. And like, he just moved on with it. And I never talked to him again in my life. Never saw him again, never talked to him again. So do what you want with that. But, yeah, like.
I think that this can happen not just to people with like alcoholism or like something like that. I think that this is kind of what happens to people when they hit their midlife crisis. I think that you have this sort of self-realization or belief about yourself when you're like a teenager and like a young adult, because you always, you know, like there's memes about it and it's joked about because it's so common in people of that age bracket. They know everything. Like you're not telling them anything, and then when you hit your 30s, you're like, maybe I can, you know, maybe actually I could learn something from other people.
Maybe there's a thing or 9 I don't know.
Yeah. And then you know, just kind of that sort of thought process. But I think that by the time you hit that midlife crisis, part of that is that, like, looking in the mirror and being like, who are you? Because I think that, you know, you're in that, you know, like, you know everything. Then you start having kids, your career takes off, like, you have a lot of pressures, a lot of people end up getting married, you have all those extra things, like, kind of coming in at you, and then you kind of can lose track of yourself, and then all of a sudden you're, like, looking in the mirror, and you're like, who are you, and who am I now? Like, so I don't think that's just for, like, somebody in that situation. I think that a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, I completely. But you know that text in the Bible says you'll become a proverb and a byword. Like, you don't want to be the cautionary tale for people. But
I know. What's
funny is, like, as a parent, like, I want to be that. Like, but your kids, you know, look, unless you do something like miraculously horrible as a parent, your kids are gonna generally try to look up. They're gonna look up to you, and it's your job to tell them, no, I'm not really as big as you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, you know, I had this conversation with a family member of mine. I'm like, look, you know, I talk to the boys about marriage. We have our man time or whatever. And I tell them, like, look, the Bible says that the man's the head of the house. So if the marriage wasn't successful, at some level, you've got to take ownership for that if you're the head of the house. You can't say I'm the head of the house, and when the thing comes falling apart, you say, oh, it's all the other person. You can't do that.
Right, yeah.
You have to own the majority of the failure if you're going to be the head of the house. And so I try to bring that up and say, okay, so, you know, I'm teaching you guys this stuff so you don't make the same mistakes I did, so that you can, you know, keep your first marriage intact. Now, obviously, they were there. They saw a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But it's about the principle. It's about the principle of, well, you're supposed to be the leader, and if you're the leader, you're supposed to carry more of the weight, whether or not it's fair. Mm-hmm. So, trying to, like, actively use myself as a cautionary tale to them, but you know, it really, I'm seeing it's not really that effective because they're looking at you as, well, you're a good parent, and you're this and you're that, so. They're not like, oh, I don't want, because I think it's like part of saying, like, I don't want to end up like dad, which obviously, if you admire the person, of course you want to end up like them.
Well, yeah, but I think that there's areas of your life that, you know, Dorian looks up to you a lot. I mean, he'd friggin' make a statue out of you if it was, you know what I mean? Like, right. He's very much, but at the same time, like, there are parts of your life that he's like, what the fuck? And he doesn't want to replicate that. So I think that he is able to see the precautionary tale in certain elements of.
Yeah, but yeah. His arithmetic though isn't, well, that's really gonna screw up my life. It's more like he told me, like, I would never talk to the kids the way you talk to the kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and that's one where I'm like, dude, that's not gonna go good for them. But Yeah, I mean, look, you know, you got to learn from other people's mistakes, but I don't know, like, I feel like everybody that's ruined their lives or has done something that's, like, significantly ruined their lives, like, I feel like everybody's got a precautionary tale or two or an off-ramp or two that, you know, whatever you say the universe is telling you, I think that's so stupid the universe is telling you, but whatever. But I do believe there's times when you're about to go down a really bad path and God does bring precautionary tales into your life that is designed to make you rethink, do you really want to go here? Do you really want to do this?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times we just like ignore them until we become the precautionary tale, and then we get upset about it. But
yeah.
This song though, like, was kind of didn't really do it for me. The first couple songs were like out of the park for me. This one has been my least favorite one so far.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But at the same time, like, it was still a badass song. It was just based on the other ones that I've heard. This one didn't really do it for me. But
yeah,
and I'm still not sure. This part I like. I'm still not sure lyrically if the person's talking about himself or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But go ahead.
Yeah, this one was an 8 for me.
Yeah, this one was 8.5. More Savatage on the way, dear listener. More. What's the name of the next song?
The next song coming up is A Little Too Far.
A Little Too Far. Oh no. Okay, so A Little Too Far is next. We are doing a Savatage live mega stream album listen review over 2 days. 16 songs, dear listener. We're doing everything start to finish, breaking down every lyric, every note. That's what we're about. Vin and Sori are going to be returning on the other side of the commercial break. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. This is the first live stream. I've seen the bots come in. Yeah, these guys.
I can only get to one of our things. I'll show you on the commercial.
Okay, we shall return. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.